In the wonderful world of Arda, it is Thursday, which is essentially Friday, kind of. Or maybe it's Saturday. I always forget. Either way, it is mid-afternoon, and when we last played, our fellowship had decided to enter the ruins of an ancient manor that is on a high bluff overlooking the Midgewater Marshes just outside of Combe. And they had decided to kind of clear some of the dark looking vines and undergrowth that had kind of grown over this place, and found, well, first Hamson, our inquisitive hobbit, found an opened cairn, an open grave of what appeared to be a woman of some means. By the look of her clothing, he found it interesting that she didn't appear to have any jewelry, though, which would have been appropriate based upon the cut of her clothing, marking her as someone of means. And then when he informed the rest of the fellowship about what he had been doing while they had been speaking to Old Man Breaker, they decided to go in. They uncovered a stair into what would have been the cellar of the manor, and they descended to investigate. In the cellar, they found a few things. They found a statue, maybe, of a troll. Some think it's a statue, some think it's actually a troll, but I don't know that they've figured out which. Jake's character, I gotta get all the names back in my head, Shadon, discovered that or assumes, based on his looking at it, that the structure of the cellar, the main room of the cellar, is actually older than the manor itself. Looks to have been once some kind of a pavilion. They found off to one side a wine cellar that has totally drawn the attention of Master Cotton. And they found a storeroom in the back, and then Traston found a downward passage that the deeper he went investigating it, because it sloped quite significantly, the thicker and thicker it became in webbed, to the point where some of the webs now, where he stopped and decided to go back, were quite large and viscous and sticky. So yeah, that's where we left off. If I recall correctly, I think Narniel was interested in pressing on down the passage of webs, but I don't know that we had made a formal decision on what our fellowship is going to do, so I will hand it over to all of you.
Nope. No webs. Nope.
Yeah, because wasn't it? It was the way it seems. Obviously, this is something that's common as like an escape route. That if we got the bearings right, it would lead us out in the marshes. Was it?
Yes. So the assumption, based upon the slope and the direction it's traveling, is that it probably continues down, might wrap around once or twice, and then let out. You know, it's common for old manors like this to have secret exits or ingress, and so it would make sense for this one to have one at the bottom of the bluff, which is right on the edge of the Midgewater Marshes.
Okay.
Marshes are, for our rangers in the party, the marshes are known to not be a safe place. Quite perilous, in fact.
Oh, okay.
So those not prepared, certainly not an issue for a couple of rangers.
Always prepared.
And probably a couple of elves. But you don't see a lot of hobbits and men traveling in the Midwater Marshes without large parties.
No good taverns there, that's why.
Exactly. And there's a reason why the Great East Road doesn't travel through the marshes, but rather slightly to the south.
Yeah, I think it was discussed that we would have a look, just for the pure fact, obviously something has been bursting out of the ground here. You know, the grave was... It's safe to assume it might have been robbed. You know, if something's lurking.
Yeah, well,
Sure.
That's why we were looking at where those things had burst out the ground. Maybe track them to see where we can work out where they came from or where. Or
Well, Traston definitely discovered that there were several holes that were in the downward passage that looks like they may have been kind of chipped away or dug out. And it would make sense because the size of the holes that are in the passage going up are very similar to the size of the holes that you found on the surface around the open cairn and just the rest of the property as a whole.
And
So
Sorry.
go ahead.
How many holes did we count on the way?
Oh, several.
Like,
I mean, if you were to actually count them, let's say there were 11 holes,
okay.
large ones, roughly the size, like something the size of a medium-sized dog could probably fit into or through those holes.
But I
That's
don't think,
Damson could probably crawl through one.
I don't think anything dangerous has broken through them at all. I mean, you know, Master Breaker, he comes here frequently and, you know, hasn't reported to us that he's been accosted by any creatures that have come out of these holes. So these holes are likely either
I
quite
don't
large.
believe Master Breaker comes down here. He comes to the area above, but not down here.
No,
He did indicate he hasn't entered the ruins in quite a long time.
Yeah, I think coming this close. I mean, I think we've come closer than he ever was because of his wife buried there.
Mm.
He may not even know. He may not even know, but he may know of things, different things happening around here. If things have somehow burst out of this area.
Oh, goodness! You hear from the next room. My goodness!
I almost thought you were reacting like that because we made the cat stream.
Yeah, the timing was beautiful.
That time was perfect.
Yeah, the timing was amazing.
My goodness, you won't believe this! No! It's all you hear from the other room.
And we can tell that these are, you know, exclamations of joy, not pain. Yes.
Well, you know, I wouldn't like to confirm or deny anything.
Okay.
So, do you think that if we follow these tracks, we will find out? Do we think that they've done something to the grave, or they've been attacking things, or is it just a pure coincidence? I think it just feels wrong that we don't check it.
200 years old.
I'm more worried about things coming from the other side of this tunnel to burst out here closer to the town. Because the marshes aren't the best. I think we do need to have a look around.
Well, not in the marshes.
Oh no, just in this
Okay.
escape
Well,
route, shall we say.
the safest option is always the best option. And I'm very proud of you for not risking life and limb once. Let's carry on.
I mean,
searching
we have no
here.
proof that we're risking life and limb. Like, we could wander down and find things.
No, we'll search around here, and then maybe we should find out. Oh gosh, let's go and see what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we can see what we've got, then
I shall wander into the other room. Handsome.
Look! Old forest plot! 240 years old is marvellous! Oh.
Handsome, you know
Yes.
you want to become an adventurer.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay. Sometimes when adventuring, it's sometimes a really good idea that not to be obsessed with things like that are trivial, like wine.
Well, a
And
good
things.
adventuring company and fellowship travels on their stomach.
Yeah.
Without food and drink, you will not be anywhere.
But also, maybe we need to be a little bit careful that we are in a strange place with strange holes. There may be creatures lurking around. You need to be a little more quiet.
But this port is fantastic. It's got the subtle flavours of dark chocolate with dried fruits and
It sounds absolutely fascinating, but we're going to be leaving in a few moments. We're going to.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm ready. I'm almost ready.
Okay, so if there was anyone waiting for us outside of this place, they will now know we're here.
Oh, should we go and announce ourselves then?
No,
Hampson, she is trying to say to you politely to just shut up.
Is anyone keeping an eye on the passage that heads downward?
It's the llama spread, isn't it?
I'm trying to teach Handsome about adventuring.
You're grumpy about the llama spread, aren't you? It's not making you happy. It fills you up, but it doesn't satisfy your palate.
I'm not happy with the fact you can't shut up.
I think for this conversation, even Nani will be looking at them just like, oh my god.
I put my hands gently on his shoulder. Look, Handsome, get yourself a couple of bottles. We will.
Oh, I'm sorted. I'm ready.
Okay, let's now. I'm going to give you a really good lesson.
Okay. Yeah.
Follow my lead and be really quiet.
Really quiet.
If those bottles chink, then they get left behind.
Well, I've packed them quite nicely.
Okay.
You see, some of these bottles are 200 odd years old.
Okay, so what we do is when we're crawling along or we're creeping out, we look around us, behind us, we keep our eyes peeled for things that are lurking in the dark. Okay?
Or like trolls.
We would hear the trolls, but even if the trolls were there, we don't want to be waking them up with loud noises, do we?
Oh, well. Unless you wanted to talk with the troll, didn't you?
Not particularly, no.
You did. You wanted to talk the troll down. I remember from when we were back at the beginning.
It's sometimes, yes, sometimes, but sometimes we have to take it a little bit, one step at a time. Let's not go in like a...
Bull in a china shop is the word you're after.
I was just wondering whether
Yes,
we have china shops.
I've seen that. Oh God, yes, China. I've got my parents, my family. We have the most intricate bone china dinner service.
What is China?
It is
I think we should
over
pen a new
100 years
term.
old. It's magnificent.
Okay,
It's
I
got a
gently
lovely.
put my hands onto his
Or a hobbit in a wine
I might
cellar.
have another way to sound and take out the deck.
I just drag him out behind me.
Wow.
So luckily, nothing comes out of the passage. But what is Shadon doing?
He's probably down the passage.
Yeah, no, Shadon was like kind of wondering, when this talking about 200-year-old port is going to end and the opening of the 200-year-old port was going to start.
When we get to next dinner,
No, last we left Shadon, he was trying to examine, more of the walls, looking for any artifacts that might support the hypothesis that this place is super old and try to identify maybe from what era it was.
So, if I recall correctly, his rolls, were not great. However, which is fine. Again, failing forward is a wonderful thing. So, there are some frescoes that if you look close, I mean, this place is old, and so some of the walls have been kind of plastered over and painted over, but here and there you see some indications that there may have been frescoes painted on some of the walls, to where if you wanted to take longer, you could probably chip some things away and get a closer look. Also, you would run the risk of possibly ruining any of them. So it's
right.
You know,
I don't want to do anything destructive, but I would take out my notebook.
Sure.
I would be trying to kind of see if I could make out a little bit of what the frescoes are, some of the designs, and jot them down.
Yeah.
So that I can research those designs later on.
So you're certainly skilled enough to do that. So definitely, if you would like, make a note that you've got, you know, as much as you can get from this cellar beneath the manor on the bluff, and that's something we can maybe look into a little bit later once you've got access to a library, or perhaps if you have a discussion with Old Man Breaker himself, he might know something as well, considering this manor apparently belonged to his family.
Well, yeah, going through his library might be the closest to having anything about.
Sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So, what's going on? Are we heading down? Or are we leaving? Are we going to go check out the marshes from the tunnel or from the outside? Or are we abandoning this thread?
Outside. There's spiders down there, so outside. Yeah, outside.
We know what Traston wants to do.
Narniel didn't want to go towards the marshes. She said it was dangerous. So
There's spiders down there. I'm speaking quietly now. Is that okay?
yes, brilliant. It's fantastic. I think there may be spiders in any kind of place that's dark and damp.
We should go and have a look then.
No.
It is known that there are significantly larger than normal spiders in the Midgewater Marsh, as well as the Chetwood, which is nearby.
I've never seen a big spider.
Never want to.
I mean, I've seen one as big as my hand, and it had 8 legs and a furry back.
That's the entire reason why I don't want to see the spiders.
Yeah, we tried to get into the pantry, you know. It found some llama spread and then spat it out.
Well, this corridor that you traveled down before to get to all those spider webs, did it seem more man-made, or was it just natural?
It was spiders. That's why we are going outside.
But we're heroes. We should investigate. Would you like a glass of wine for some Dutch courage?
What kind of courage? What is Dutch?
Well, it's like Elven, but it's one of those weird dialects.
So,
I'm worried that some things have come from the marshes into this place, and that's what is causing the holes up on the surface.
Or perhaps we
And
should
if these
collapse it then.
creatures, how would you propose that, little hobbit?
Well, I don't know. We've got some big, strong elves. Maybe they could dig. Well, we could get a little picnic going, a glass of wine while we watch Traston work. He wants to bury the spiders.
I just want to get out of here.
I mean, it's very clear that something can still dig.
I could get one of the really terrible bottles of wine. We could attach some cloth, maybe from the elf's cloak, because that will probably burn nicely. We could light it and throw it down there and burn the spiders out.
Yes, but there's only one of 2 ways that the spiders will come out.
Exactly, the other way, right?
Like, would you know
Because they'll be
how
afraid of
aggressive these
fire.
spiders might be?
well,
But even if the spiders are here, they're not doing anything to anybody. So why would we attack them?
not currently.
That's why. That's why we should get out of here, because spiders know.
Maybe they're friendly spiders.
No,
A little bit of quick lore to also possibly explain a little bit of where Traston is coming from. Spiders are one of those things that are just generally not the small ones like Hampson was talking about, although they're certainly pests. But the large spiders, they are servants of the enemy. They are the spawn of an old evil named Ungoliant. And they're generally not good. So Narniel wanting to investigate out of the, I think, if I'm taking you correctly, out of the desire to prevent there from being an issue in the surrounding area from these spiders, that's not a bad point of view. As far as Ange not wanting to, Erennial is a bit of a pacifist, and that's understandable. But these are servants of the enemy in general. It's kind of one of those things where it's like there aren't any good spiders. It's not to say that they're not intelligent and that you can't communicate with them, but because in a very creepy way you can, and they do speak. But that's kind of the worst, isn't it?
Well, it just sounds really weird.
But yeah, they're servants of evil.
Yeah.
We would be very, very poor heroes if we didn't try and stop these spiders from coming in here. This tunnel is close to the settlement. Spider could come from the marshes area, could run away with the mutton and the cows, not to mention a hobbit child or a human child.
Or a troll.
Just a quick question, like, how tall is
Master
Hampton?
Cotton, do you know how much you like your lunches and your 11th season and everything?
Oh yes. Oh,
Yes, those spiders, those big spiders love you as much as you love your lunches.
But they've got to catch me. You see, I'm small.
Oh,
I can
Yeah,
run.
you're small, so you're easier to capture.
Really? Oh.
It seems
This
like
is a good question, though. How tall is Hampson for a hobbit?
He's about average height for a hobbit, whatever it is, 3 foot, whatever.
Yeah, so probably 3 to 3.5.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, what, half? I'm not really good with measurements.
How
like,
tall is
half
Narniel?
I think
How do you picture Narniel?
like 6
Six?
foot, like proper.
Yeah, so
stoic
Hampson
kind
is-
of built.
Hampson is maybe at or just above your waistline.
So I'm just trying to think in comparison, like on what we know of the spiders, if we've seen them before, in comparison to Hampson. Like
About
half
the same size.
human?
Like Hampson would have a handful if he were to wrestle a spider.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Shadon and Tristan will be the largest because elves are typically larger than the average human.
Taller, not broader, but taller for sure. But not all elves, and not necessarily Numenorians, who, or I guess I should say Dunedain, because they're also descended from elves and humans. So you all might be kind of about the same height. The average human in Bree would probably be 5'5" to 5'9".
I'm 5'5" in real life, so.
Yeah.
Well, you think
Yeah,
if
you're around average height. I'm 5'9".
if you think that spider would try and eat me, think what it would do to a defenseless child. I at least have my sword. I can defend myself, but a poor innocent child would not be able to defend themselves.
What was the sword called again? Husk Slayer or something like
I
that?
can't remember. I wrote it down. Rabbit Slayer, Spider Slayer,
Rabbit Slayer, that's
Spider
right.
Slayer, Corn Slayer, Corn Slayer.
Corn Slayer. It changes.
We should stop them.
Yes.
I think.
for your blade to taste.
That being said,
blood.
Well, not
all
really.
of that being said, I do want to come back to Ange's point of not accosting things that aren't doing anything. It's a fair point. And so there's always ways to handle situations that don't involve combat should you decide to go that way. And you know, like Ange said, there's no indication that they've done anything to accost anyone.
Yeah, I mean,
All you know is that
Smaug
there's
wouldn't have
holes roughly their size.
Yeah, I mean,
in
Smaug wouldn't have attacked
the
the village if the dwarves didn't take the mine back, so.
This
Potentially, at least not at that moment. Yeah, but yeah, that's a fair point.
this falls strictly under the business of the Rangers of the North. They are the wardens and the caretakers of this area. Certainly, those would be the proper authority to decide what our next actions would be.
Exactly, I think so. Yes.
Other things to consider, Ange. Spiders in this area might be a helpful source of venom to study and then turn into an anti-venom. Because a lot of people are attacked by spiders in this area. Not necessarily here at this moment, obviously, but woodsmen working in the Chetwood are attacked by spiders with some regularity. Anybody venturing into the Midgewater Marshes for whatever reason is likely to be ambushed by a spider, more likely than not. So, looking into what's going on, and even if some extermination were required, having access to their venom to be able to make anti-venom is not necessarily a bad thing either. But again, it's all of your call, so you all decide. You have other things to look into as well. If you need a reminder, I'm happy to.
Reminders of the things. So I was just looking through my notes, but what I think we should somehow collapse the tunnel so they can't get down the tunnel anymore.
It's an interesting idea.
So that they can't come closer to town.
There are still
they can't get down the tunnel
to consider, and if they were able to dig out those holes, who's to say that
They are able to dig out when you collapse the tunnel, yeah.
But if we blow it up really good,
How long did it take him to dig the holes too?
I don't think blowing would actually work.
I have no idea about blowing things up in this game, but that's what I propose.
Explosives are not a thing. Interestingly enough, except for with the exception of the enemy. But that's another story entirely, and certainly not anything you all have access to.
Okay.
Yeah, if you wanted to collapse the tunnel, and I'm assuming at this point that some of you, either Iraniel or possibly Shadon, possibly even Hamson, since you've all kind of discussed it, have looked at the tunnel. It does show signs of workmanship. So it's not just a natural carved tunnel, and in fact, where the holes are, there's signs that some of the stonework that was put into place to keep the tunnel intact has fallen in. And if you look up in those holes, or been dug out, right? And if you look up in those holes, it is just kind of dirt and scree that these, we're assuming spiders, so I'll just say spiders, have dug through. So is it collapsible? Sure. The question then becomes, what kind of effect will it have on the manor above?
I'm more concerned about the knowledge that we'd be leaving behind. I mean, clearly this was done by humans. It was done by human hands.
Yes.
There could be another room down there. We just don't know.
Cellar in the cellar.
A secret room, treasure, mysterious things to help us fight against the enemy.
201-year-old bottles of port.
If you were saying something, Tony, I think you're muted.
Oh, you're right. It could be a hidden supply down there.
Do you want to go down this tunnel?
I mean, this North Towns rosé I've got here is marvellous. But there could be more down there. I think we owe it to ourselves to go down there, to face the evil, to destroy the enemy.
No.
Is that not what we are here? To help those? To seek out the evil that is here?
You have a point, and I do agree with what you're saying, but should one put oneself in such danger?
I don't think we will put ourselves in danger. I think if we leave Traston here, if we don't get out in a reasonable amount of time, he can go and call more Rangers of the North to come and investigate what may have happened to us.
Nothing's going to happen to us. It'll be fine. What could go wrong?
Just to throw the idea out there, you don't necessarily have to stay together. It's clear Traston doesn't want to go down the tunnel. I don't know if any of you will be able to talk him into doing so. But you could investigate from both sides.
He can stay here and look out for the ghosts.
Or he can stay here. Yeah.
And the spirits and the evil things that are upstairs.
There are no ghosts.
Well, all of you did feel something when you came into the ruin. And
I didn't.
Yes, you did. If you don't recall, everybody felt a sense of sadness and depression, and everybody should have taken a point of shadow. Saying that.
I felt that because I had to hear that food talk of Hansen again. So.
Oh, okay. I mean, if you want to justify it in that direction, that's fine.
No.
However, I do want to remind you that was the truth, and that everybody suffered a point of shadow. So you did feel something up there, and also it is late afternoon at this point, so the sun may be setting. Those of you with some knowledge of darker things, if there's a bad feeling up top, things might happen at sunset. You never know.
Well, we felt the evil thing in here, down here, not up there. So for me, that would also be a reason to stay up and not go down. Spiders are a bigger reason why Traston will not go down, but the feeling is also a big part of it.
Shadon, did you want to go down there just to investigate for other reasons?
I think knowledge for its own sake is a worthy pursuit, as always. I'll head down there. If I'm not back in half a day, come after me and see what happened.
Oh, you will not go alone.
Oh, okay.
We don't abandon our friends. You never abandon your friends. If all of us go, we should all go.
I agree.
Yes. And anyone that abandons their friends is not a friend.
No, Neil, you're sorry?
I do think that it may be wise for us to observe what happens when night falls first. You make good points about us not chasing down that have not harmed, but when night falls, a story might be told, and
I suppose
maybe we can
should
make a proper decision.
We shouldn't go down on an empty stomach, should we? Dinner sounds good. We could crack open one of these fine bottles.
We just had food not too long ago.
God, that was ages ago.
That was 10 minutes ago.
No, I was looking at wine for at least 20 minutes.
Then it was 20 minutes ago. It's still not enough to be hungry again.
So while it is coming, sunset is still probably at least a couple of hours away, right? So it's late afternoon, but not quite that late.
Did you notice any markings of things using that tunnel recently? Were there any signs when you went down to investigate?
Did Traston make a tracking roll? I don't know if he did, actually.
I turned around as soon as I saw the big clumps of spider web.
Yeah, he really didn't do any searching in the tunnel. He went down until he ran into a barrier, essentially, and came back.
Right. When I went down, there was like a wall of spider webs, and that's when I turned around.
Was it fresh, or were they just aged?
Don't care. I don't do spiders.
I'll go check. Hampton's quickly going down the tunnel. He's going to grab some of the spider webs.
Nice.
And come back out. There you go, Traston. Have a look at it now and hold the spider web right up his face. Does this look fresh or does it look old?
And as soon as you are close with that spider web, you feel a little prick at your belly. Keep doing that, and it will go in.
So you on one knee? Are you down, lying down then to get my belly?
I just have to take out my dagger and hold it in front of me. I mean, you're tall enough.
I think I'm gonna have to have Traston take a point of shadow for that kind of interaction. I understand that he's being driven by his fear, and I love that. But unfortunately, sometimes fear leads us down a dark road.
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to whatever.
Leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
Hate leads to suffering, yeah. So I'm going to need to have Traston take another point of shadow.
I did.
For that kind of dark response. But I love it.
He drives
and,
me. He really...
I know.
Pushes my buttons.
I step forward and push him away from Hanson and say, "What on earth are you doing?"
Or pull away Hanson from me because he's the one doing it.
I would like Shadon to make a check, considering that he's an elf of Rivendell and kind of more mystically attuned than everyone else. What do I want you to make a check of, though, is the question. Let's make it... Let's just do awareness. Do you have awareness?
Let's see. Awareness. Yes, I do. All right.
Yeah, why don't you make an awareness check for him?
Yes, I may not be as aware as one might hope.
Sure. Would you like to spend hope?
I think at this point I'm going to have to, because I'm fearing a sense of this fellowship breaking apart a bit.
Right.
So, I'm understanding there are little pricks about and spiders and things that are really maybe causing despair.
Okay. So, spending a point then?
Yes.
Okay, so that automatically becomes a magical success, obviously, because of your Rivendell nature. You get the sense that there is something dark at work here. There's definitely that feeling of oppression that you felt when you walked into the ruin above. Now that you're focusing on it more and you're seeing kind of the effects, you definitely feel like there was a sense of sadness and then a sense of oppression, and they're actually separate things. So there is something here, or something nearby, or there with your sense of the feelings. There was some kind of an event, and as you're really focusing on it, are you in the main room?
Yeah, no, I'd be in the
room. Or
with,
did you
with everybody else, especially if I'm going to be doing this type of thing where I sense something, possibly otherworldly influencing.
Sure.
The outcome. This is something that I want other people to be a part of.
So as you see your friends kind of, or your new acquaintances, I should say, I don't want to overstep and say that they've become your friends as yet, but as you see these fellow good folk engaging in this behavior, you begin to see that each of them has kind of a ghostly form overlaid on top of them. Particularly Traston and Hamson. And you don't know that the entities are influencing their behavior totally, but you get the sense that maybe their behavior is almost recreating something that has happened here before. Maybe not exactly, but this sense of needling and argumentation, and it's almost like they're calling upon something. And you suddenly feel just your heart sink, and this oppression becomes so much more upon you as you see these kind of illusory figures disappear. So that's what you see.
Okay, so then
anyone else want to see if this is fresh or not?
After you're gonna hear me start seeing everything that's just happened. I'm going to take out my lute, and as everybody else is kind of fighting and stuff, I'm gonna start to sing a song. When the night is long and home is far, look to friends and not to fear, 'cause where hope is lost, so are we.
All right, make a song check for me.
While he was singing that song, I am going to walk in between the two of them and push the knife away.
I think it's appropriate.
So
The result that was.
So close.
We'll keep that result because that's
close.
That's very good at describing the atmosphere where we're at.
Right. So how is everybody responding now to Shadon singing, Iraniel stepping between Traston and Hamson and pushing the knife? Are you like taking a hold of Traston's arm and like
I am
forcefully, or are you just interposing?
I just put my hand and go, what on earth do you think you're doing? This is not the time and place to turn on our friends. Put the knife away.
It was just webbing. He's our tracker. I wanted him to see if it was fresh or not. He was too afraid to go down the tunnel, so I went down and got it.
Who was the one that found the webbing in the first place, idiot?
But
Why
you didn't tell us.
So argumentative, and I just push him away and go, you have to be, if we all lose our tempers with everybody that annoys us, our life is going to be very, very unpleasant. I always thought elves were pleasant and kind and forgiving people, yet you seem very aggravated, argumentative. And this is not a really good trait. Are you well in yourself? Do you need to go outside and take some air?
Perhaps it's the evil spirits that were upstairs. There was definitely a darkness there, a sorrow, an unhappiness, forlorn. Maybe that's it. Do elves suffer more from the effects of the darkness of the enemy?
In general, our memories are very long, and it can cause some of us to fear that we might repeat past mistakes.
Oh, right. So do you think when he was a little elf, he ran into a spider's web and didn't like it? If you just said so, I could have, I don't know. I mean, Traston, I'll make you a nice meal.
Hamson, everyone
So
has their
Traston
own
steps aside.
stories.
I know, I had the story with the corn. If you remember, it was quite fearful.
Yes,
It
Traston
scared
has
me.
his own.
Are you doing anything as you head up the stairs back into the light, fading though it is?
I'm just going to. Is Reeker still there?
If you head around the corner to check, yes, he is. It looks like he's just kind of finishing packing up his things.
Then I'm not going to sit with Reeker if I see he's still there, but I am going to sit near the entrance of the building and just sit there.
Okay. As you sit there, are you sitting in the sun or in the shade?
I'm going to sit in the sun.
Okay. So as you sit in the sun, you definitely feel better. You definitely feel that your actions were your own, right? You make your own choices. You don't feel as if anything has taken control of you. However, now that you're alone and not being pestered and able to focus, you do definitely get a sense that there is something wrong here. So, what's everybody doing downstairs?
I'll say, Shadon, are you wanting to go down this tunnel?
I do, but I fear that there is something emanating from here, which is causing us ourselves to be very, very unlike ourselves. I mean, just look at Cotton and Traston, and this is not.
I'm very much like myself. I take offence at that. I'm inquisitive. I'd like to see things, and it's just a question.
Well,
I mean, how did I know he had a bad experience as a little elf? I didn't even think there was little elves.
As Hampson is speaking, Shadon, you're still having a little bit of after effects. And you hear what Hampson is saying, but you're also hearing a plaintive voice that also sounds very innocent and is asking similar questions, like, I just wanted to see it. I just wanted to know. How was I to know?
It's almost like we're repeating something from history here. Or there's an otherworldly presence here.
I've never been here before, so I can't say I've been repeating anything I've done here before, because I've never been here before. Or you mean something... the ghost of spirits.
The same thing that caused us to feel that chill.
It was quite unpleasant when I felt the chill, yes. Perhaps he just needs a good home-cooked meal. Have you got any elven recipes that don't incorporate lambus bread?
So
how good's your crafting skill for Shadon? He might be able to make some food.
That's a good question. Crafting.
You guys will have to excuse me for 1 second. My nose is running. I'll be right back.
You know what? I think yes.
Go catch your nose.
I think while we're here, maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to craft something elvish for Traston to get a little bit of a taste of home.
What does he eat apart from lambus bread?
Oh,
I mean, could I do lambus bread and stew? Dip the lambus bread in the stew? Would that work?
I think maybe, giving him a break from lambus bread could be exactly what he needs.
That's true. I'm sure it does terrible things to your insides.
You wouldn't mind.
That's all you eat.
Rummage through a few of your things and.
Oh yes, I mean, we could go and get some rabbits, and we could cook some rabbit, and if we went to the river, we could get some fish. We could steam some fish, or we could fry some fish. We get some taties. We could fry up some taties with it as well if we wanted. Mushrooms. We could get some mushrooms. There's lots of things we can do. There's plenty of herbs around here that we can pick up. I'm just worried that we're not going to get anything that he only eats lambus bread. That he needs to widen his horizons, doesn't he? Beyond lambus bread, don't you think?
Yes, that's why I'm thinking lambus bread is not the correct thing. But I don't find anything here in the ingredients that I think he would enjoy. That wouldn't give him the taste of home that he needs to kind of bring him back to himself.
Maybe I pan fry some lambus bread.
I don't think you should cut yourself.
Saute? No, steam?
Lambus pancakes?
Steam? No.
I don't.
Well,
oh, I see a kitty.
So, are we going to go? We're going to go and cook some food,
Reg.
or are we going to go down the tunnel?
Yeah, I believe down the tunnel might be nice.
Okay.
before they have a chance, if there is anything there.
We're losing light, so we go down the tunnel a little way very quickly, see what we can see, take a quick assessment, and then we come out. So say go 100 meters or however far, which is really quick, and then we shall come back and reassess the situation.
Okay. Should we go and tell Trassa? Should I go and tell him we're going down the tunnel?
No, Handsome. In life, we have to learn that sometimes some people just
are grumpy.
A little bit, yes.
Yes.
And you, as much as you don't like that bread, he does. So let's just not talk about it, because you're riling him up.
It's not like I don't like it. I mean, it tasted a bit bland, but it filled me up for a few minutes at least. I think I think it's just limiting for him. You know, I mean, if you only eat one thing, life must be so. And if he's only, how old is he? He's old, isn't he? I just think if you'd eaten lambus bread only for 2,000 years, you can understand why he's grumpy.
Yeah, while Ramiel and Hampson are discussing this, I'm going to head up to speak to Traston.
Okay.
Traston, are you... Could we talk?
You're not like hiding or anything, are you, Scoon? Like you said you were sitting in sunlight. Okay.
Sitting in the sunlight in front of the entrance.
Okay.
Hey, I know it's tough. I know it's hard, and I know that you might not be the greatest lover of little folk, but...
I never have a problem with halflings, but this one, he just can't shut up.
I know. I know it's trying for you, and I know it's trying on your patience. You are an elf of action, and this I understand. But I think the time for action to head down is soon. Can we count on you to take up the rear in case anything happens so that you can go back and get help?
I am not going down there.
And at the same time, honor dictates that you don't abandon your friends in their hour of need.
It's not because of the abandonment. I really don't do spiders.
I know.
You have no... I'm useless around spiders.
Well, then it's either staying here and waiting for us or taking up the rear as we go down. I won't put any pressure on you, but I want you to think hard about this decision. I don't want you to regret something.
I'm not going down there.
All right, but in life, you regret the things you didn't do more often than you regret the things you did.
We've already been down there. And I've seen enough.
All right. If there's nothing else I can say, then where will you be?
I will stay here.
All right.
Oh gosh.
I just...
Tony's connection is okay.
She's having problems.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Bless her.
There we go.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want you to stay here on top with, after nightfall anyways. With all those spider holes there, while we go down, could be that the spiders will be coming up. You might actually be safer with us.
There might
It's easier to face
be one of those big ones down there. It didn't feel right also to just be in there. Something's down there that we do not understand. My advice, don't go down deeper.
I respect your decision. But when the elves of this world have been called upon to take care of evil, we have always answered that call.
Well, not my kind of elves. Maybe the elves of Rivendell.
Yeah, I'll...
So what's happening down below as Shadon goes up top? What are the sisters and Hamson doing?
What about eggy lambus bread? You know, you can make eggy bread. It would be good. We could mix up some eggs, add a little bit of cheese, a little bit of milk, whisk it up. We could coat the lambus bread in that and gently fry it.
When you tried the lambus bread, did you really think that was the type of material that would soak anything up?
Well, you know, not really, but it got a little wet. You know, but did you try it?
I've tried it in the past, yes.
Yeah, it's anything to add a little bit of extra flavour to it.
I mean, you could just use, bread.
Well, I'm trying to do something for our scared elven friend up there. You know, I want to try and help him out. Help him overcome his fears. I could stand alongside him as we face the spiders off together. All those... I'm sorry, does that mean don't talk as much?
Right. I know you are passionate about it. So, again, quiet.
Shh. Okay. I have a suggestion.
We're going to go down this tunnel in silence and hopefully...
Can I make a suggestion?
Okay.
Why don't I just go to the edge of the tunnel, look down, and say, "Hello, Mr. Spider, are you there?"
Because if they're there, they're going to attack us. They're evil.
Well, no, they'll come up. Maybe they'll talk with us.
No, the spiders are renowned, and we know that they are evil, and you have to accept that something...
Oh, I can accept there is evil in this world. An elf just put a dagger at my belly.
So we're not going down there to fight. We're going to go and assess the situation, see if we need any help, and then we will come out, and then we will regroup, and then make a decision. So we have to be extremely quiet. No more talk about food. Right, before we go in there, can you quickly eat something so that you don't get hungry when we're halfway down there while we're waiting for Shadon to come back?
Oh, yes, I'll sit down and get some wood and start making a little campfire.
No. We're not making a fire. You're just going to have a little snack. Just get an apple or something out of your bag. Chop, chop.
We know hot food until the morning.
You want to chop the apple as well?
Just put the wood away. We're not making a fire. Eat that apple there.
Okay. Right, no fire. Okay.
While Hamson has a quick snack,
pulling out my picnic blanket and cup and.
So Shadon and Traston are still talking, and suddenly, well, not suddenly, I mean, Traston knew he was there. Old Man Breaker comes around the corner, which is the path to head back down to Combi. And he's got his little basket, and he's got a roll kind of slung under his arm. And with the clearance that you've both done, that the group of you have done, he notices you, because he glances into the ruin as he walks past, and he sees Traston sitting and Shadon. He's, not unable to read people's expressions, and he says, "Pardon me, Master Elves. Is everything all right?"
I'll be fine. As long as I don't have to go back down there again.
Tell me, this manor, do you know upon ruins of what it was built?
My understanding is it was an old watchtower, possibly Numenorian or Elven, in fact.
An old watchtower, and Has there been any sightings around this area, particularly in the evening time? Any reports of anything going on?
Folks say that my wife haunts the place. I've never seen her.
I did feel something when I entered.
He's still outside the ruin.
Yeah,
he's like,
he doesn't know that we have down. Like, I mean, you know, that's surely just stories. But how did they say that this manifestation occurred? Was it just lights or noises? What? Perhaps
I'm surprised the people in town haven't told you already. Apparently, I was such an awful person that my wife ran off one night and did the unimaginable to herself because I was such the bad husband. It's not what happened at all. She was taken from me.
How was she taken?
It was years ago. There was an errand I had to run up north to Fornost. When I returned, she had been gathering. She was an amateur botanist and alchemist, and she had been gathering supplies in the Chetwood. Most likely went too close to the marshes. When I found her, she'd been murdered. It was difficult to say how. Could have been goblins in the area, could have been spiders. So many times I pleaded with her not to go out on her own, but she claimed she could take care of herself. I could only believe her. I'd seen her take care of herself. But if I'd been here and gone with her as I usually did, it wouldn't have happened. I brought her back here and buried her in the ruins that we loved so much.
One mustn't ever despair, because that will not lead to anything positive happening. I think it is good to honor her memory.
I think you mistake sadness for despair, Master Elf. I continue to do all I can to aid your folk and my folk and all free folk.
Has it been known that there have been spiders in this area? Or near the Chetwood where your wife was found?
Well, Chetwood, certainly. The marshes, definitely. I've not heard anyone tell of spiders around here. Do you see evidence?
No.
He's kind of craning to look, but he can't really see from the edge of the ruin.
Traston, did you find any evidence of spiders in the area? Nope.
Very well. If there's nothing else, I should head back to town before it gets dark. Times are not safe for someone of my advanced age.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you later there. I may want to avail myself of your library in the coming days.
I keep quite late hours, Master Elf. Stop by and knock. If I don't respond, I've likely fallen asleep in the study, and I'll see you in the morning.
Thank you so much for your kind invitation.
Of course.
Traston.
And yeah, so if there's nothing else, he heads down the road.
Well, Tristan, does that help change your mind any bit?
No. I've had.
Okay, so back to the cellar. Hang on, we'll come back to you soon. Back to the cellar. Are you guys going to, in that time, head down and look? You said you wanted to go down a ways.
I used to shout up to Tristan. No, so Shadon, sorry. Did you want to go down? Because time's ticking and we need to get a move on. If you want to go, we're leaving now.
Well, I haven't finished yet.
You have finished. Pack away. Shadon, are you coming?
Do I hear the shout for my name?
Actually, you would, as an elf. You have quite good hearing.
All right. I will head down. I will look at the group and say, "You're sooner gonna get a dwarf in a boat."
Love it.
Yes, you would.
Right.
Writing that one down.
I throw my bag so it's on my back, and I will pull out my spear.
Okay.
So it was an idea to be ready, handsome.
Yes, I'm ready.
No.
So if there's a lot of webbing,
you need a sword in your hand, not the apple.
you can always stick the apple on the end of your sword and just kind of eat it as you're walking.
And then with my left hand, I take the apple, holding the sword in my right hand.
I take the apple off him and pop it in his back and go, "You want to be an adventurer, remember?"
I'm full mum mode.
Need a shield, don't I?
Yes, we will get you one when we get back to town.
How do we use it?
Probably have to make him one and teach him. Yeah.
Right, stay close to me. Do not speak.
We have to sneak.
I'm very good at sneaking.
I know.
So someone is probably,
I don't know.
with the knowledge that there are webs down there, I'm sure one of you will pull out a torch because it'll be difficult to clear the way with a lantern.
I've got no apple, so yeah, I'll have a torch.
Webs burn quite easily. So yeah, as you travel down to where the webs became quite thick, and Traston, I think, was too traumatized by it to really describe it, but they are thick and ropey. Like, some of these webs are easily the thickness of a thumb, sometimes larger. But they're relatively easy. They're to clear away. They're somewhat dry. There are a few that are kind of more ropey and viscous, but most of them seem to be dry. They may have been here for some time. And between torch and blade, it's relatively easy to clear yourself a path.
Okay, I'm going to make sure that Hanson's not at the back and in between whoever's in front of me.
Okay. There's no way to avoid getting webs all over you unless you are really taking your time to burn off everything. All of you are going to come out of this thing looking like ghosts draped in webbing. But yeah, as you travel down, you get to, as I described was probably there, as you would have figured, you get to what would be a switchback, and it continues downward. The webs actually ease up after a short period, so it looks almost as like something with intelligence kind of layered the webs in thick there, almost as a barrier. Because after a short distance, it's quite clear.
I don't see any spider.
Perhaps this has all just been a very clever camouflage.
To hide treasure. Maybe there's something wonderful down here. Maybe we'll find the answer to all of the evil spirits that are down here. Maybe we can cleanse this place of evil.
Well, treasure doesn't generally crawl out of the dirt.
Well, unless it's dead, might do.
Let's see. I'm gonna need from each of you. Let's do, depending upon what you think might be interesting to you. Let's get a lore from somebody, a hunting from somebody, a scan from somebody, and an awareness from somebody. So each of you pick one of those.
I'll do the awareness.
I'll do lore.
Let's
Okay.
do hunting.
Okay. So I need a lore and a scan.
Oh.
I can try lore, if that's right.
Okay. Success on the awareness.
Carpet of flowers, plus there's no you.
You don't need elves, just need hobbits.
Success on the lore.
Nice.
And it looked like, did I see that your roll failed again, Shadon?
Yes.
Okay.
So did mine.
I'll let you know when I succeed in something.
Fair enough. I do want to remind everyone that, don't get too discouraged with the rolls, because before long, probably next session, we're going to hit a fellowship phase and you'll be able to do some increases and things. So, but I know there's been a lot of failures, but I feel like your target numbers aren't really that high.
Roll 20.
Yeah, it could just be the bad RNG on Roll20 as well. So with a great success on awareness, we'll do Hamson last. Narniel with the lore and a success. You are remembering, as you're kind of focusing your mind on spiders and the dangers that they represent. You are remembering that generally they would web up places that they are essentially finished with, right? So it's like putting up a wall to prevent people from following them, but generally when they put up a wall of webbing that thick, it's an indicator that they're probably not going to be back that way. So you likely, based on that lore roll, I would say that they have probably come and gone, and it's not something like, it's not a common thoroughfare that they use, I guess would be a thing to say. Now, interestingly enough, with a great success for Hamson, as you are heading down, you notice a few things. First of all, probably because you're closer to the ground, you definitely see indicators of tracks. And you might not be the best tracker in the world, but there's a part of you that thinks that you can identify what is a spider track, right? It's kind of pokey into the dirt. So definitely feel like they've been this way. And then also, interestingly enough, and maybe it's your flair for looking for treasure, you do see here and there what looks to be discarded or potentially dropped things of value, shiny, possibly valuable.
Picking them up as I'm going along.
A coin here. Over here is just a shiny bit of metal. A little bit further along, you actually find the stud of an earring. And then further on, you find what looks to be a pendant without a chain. And these things look like they've just kind of fallen out, maybe, of whatever they were being carried in. And they all do kind of have a kind of tackiness, like they had been webbed.
I'll pull Ariel's leg. Look.
It's kind of ridiculous, but in your mind, you have this picture of like a spider, and you know that spiders don't look like this because you recall that spider from your pantry that you defended your pantry from. but you have this picture in your mind of a spider with like a sack over its shoulder made of webbing, full of treasure, and just bits falling out. So yeah, that's what you see with your awareness roll. Now, before we continue with you all, I want to jump back to Scoon. Scoon, as you're sitting there, twilight is growing. The sun has dipped below the horizon, but it's not quite yet night at this point. So it's still light, but the sun is below the horizon. Or at least the horizon that you can see, being on such a tall hill, right?
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Unless you've moved, I don't know, are you still sitting in the same place?
Yeah, I believe, is Shaden still here?
No, Shaden went down with everyone else.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
You would have heard that I was being
I
called.
would have made a fire here.
Okay, you would have made a fire? Okay.
But I told him I would stay here at the entrance. Because I'm not going to leave the place fully, but I am not going in.
Did you spend some time clearing some more of the brambles to make space for a fire?
Yeah,
possibly using the brambles themselves.
I started making a little fireplace.
Cool. So while you're sitting at your fire and tending it, as the sun dips below the horizon, although you might not be able to see it because of the ruins of the walls, you definitely feel the moment that the sun dips below the horizon, because you suddenly feel a chill, an immense chill, and your attention is drawn immediately to the open cairn of the lady that Hamson found, and above it you see a ghostly form floating. And she turns and looks at you, and without her mouth moving, you hear a raspy voice in your head asking who you are.
I am Tristan. Who might you be?
So as you say that, I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know how often elves blink. But as soon as you finish the question of who might you be, she instantaneously disappears and reappears directly right in front of your face and says, "This is my home. You don't ask the questions here."
I'm happy I went down to the spiders.
Oh, spiders. There's no spiders.
She's definitely, now that she's so close, even in the light that remains, you can see the outlines of a middle-aged woman. Was once human, most likely. You see no indications of her being an elf. And the darker it gets, the less translucent she becomes. And it's almost as if like wisps of her form are like being drawn into her from different areas of the manor as the light darkens. What are you doing here?
Waiting for my friends.
You're not here to steal anything?
No.
And at that, as her form becomes more solid, she actually sits down. Not next to you. She does take a step back. And she sits down and says, good, because anything of value has already been taken.
I don't really care for monetary value or physical stuff to take. It's not really my thing.
She kind of looks at you and squints a little bit. Says, you're an elf, are you?
I keep my eyes open because I just looked up. Elves practically do not blink.
Okay.
They only blink when, well, at least the actor that plays Legolas, he only blinked when he was surprised,
Right.
or when he was in pain.
Or if there's like dust in their eyes, they gotta get out.
No, he never blinked in any other moment in the movie.
Sure. So yeah, she asks, you're an elf? Are your kind moving back into this area now?
No.
Too bad.
I'm just here because I'm a elf that delivers messages for my people. So I travel almost everywhere in Middle Earth.
Who would you be delivering a message to here?
At the moment, I'm in between messages.
She kind of holds her hands out to the fire. Very human movement. You're not sure that it would actually do anything for her. And she asks, what are your friends doing? I assume they went below.
They wanted to investigate a tunnel, but I'm not going there because of spiders.
As soon as you mention spiders, her eyes narrow again, and you can see like her form kind of like shivering, almost in contained rage. Says, you don't like them, huh?
No.
Neither do I.
Smart move.
All right, back down below.
How far
Something
we got?
dropped the treasure.
Your laptop every second.
You know?
Just to process over again. And for like data running.
Yeah, Hampson's not wrong. Now that he's pointed it out to you, all of you can see little bits of glittering things here and there. I mean, it's not like an intentionally left trail, and it's certainly not like there's just piles of treasure, but every now and then there's like a little bit or a little bob, something shiny. Looks like things are just falling out of a sack.
Spiders don't leave treasure like this.
And
This is people.
I doubt spiders would take treasure.
Exactly. Not unless they had a little sack made out of webbing they kind of put over their back.
I'd like
Ooh.
to look up.
That would make a good thing to. Yeah. What if they do that, you know?
As if I'm wondering if anything dropped from above.
From above. Okay, if you look up, no, it does not seem like there are like the holes that you saw back before the web wall. There's nothing like that. However, the deeper you go, the more this is kind of looking like a worked stone passage. Worked isn't the right word. An excavated passage, right? So like the places where there is any kind of like wooden framing. Well, it starts off stone and then it kind of becomes stone and wooden framing. And now you're just getting to the parts where it's rough wall that has been, chopped out by someone with a pickaxe.
Well, looks like you were right, Hampson. That this was a place with some treasures, and I'll help him collect it. And, pass him the little bits and bobs that we find.
Would any of it look like it could be, like fitting for Rika's wife and the station that we believe she's at? Or she was at.
I mean, it definitely looks like some of this stuff would have come from possibly the storeroom above. There's some indications of like some gold cutlery. There's also some broken crockery that probably was fine china at some point. So yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible that somebody had been looting the lower level of the manor. Kind of strange that the webs were there, though. Because the rangers, for sure, like with any knowledge that you have of spiders, they might take interest in certain things, particularly items of power that Shadon would be more interested in. But looting and like carrying off this kind of treasure is not generally the kind of behavior a spider would engage in. A goblin, maybe.
Yeah. Well, where is it?
Possibly a human bandit. Maybe. Somebody looking to make their living.
Or maybe they attempted to escape down here and the spiders got them.
Also possible. It's difficult to tell at this point, with the ground still being relatively solid, I guess is the word I'm looking for. It's not really dusty or dirt. I mean, it's gone from stone flags to like chopped stone, right? So it's hard to see tracks other than the slight impressions that Hamson saw that indicated spiders. So there were spiders here, but it's difficult to say whether or not when or who they engaged with. There's no signs of combat that any of you can see. No blood, no...
Nothing recent, yeah.
Yeah.
Do we notice any, like, spider... I'm basing this on the films, like spider cocoon things where, you know, they...
I don't know.
Sure. So you haven't seen any cocoons thus far. Like I said, after you kind of made it past the passage where they had kind of webbed over, it's been relatively clear. And, you know, these, other than smaller things, I mean, there's evidence of, you know, cobwebs here and there. But in terms of, like, the larger webs of larger spiders, no, you don't see anything like that.
How long have we been walking for now?
Oh, you know, probably half an hour. Still no indication of a chamber of any kind. Just after the switchback, it continues to go downwards.
Like, would we know how far we are roughly from where we assume it exits?
Your guess is that you're getting very close to where the bottom is, if it does in fact bottom out at the marsh. Because the bluff was quite high.
Well, there's nothing to take this to its logical conclusion and see where this tunnel leads us.
Okay.
There's no spiders, so I think it's safe.
We go forward with caution still.
Okay.
Yes, but a good lesson in life that all is not what it seems.
Do we need a quick break?
Yes, we could take a quick 5-10 minute break, guys, if that's
Sure.
That. Yeah.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
So we're going to jump back in with Scoon and his visitor. So you are currently sitting across the fire from what is clearly an apparition who seems very cogent. I don't know if Traston has had such encounters before in his travels. But yeah, what are you doing?
I don't think Tristan would have ever seen a ghost. He would know about them, even though he did say ghosts aren't real to Hampson, but mostly because otherwise he would be like, oh, I want to meet a ghost, and he will go completely crazy. But he is staying pretty calm in all of this.
Okay. Yeah, she's just sitting at the fire with you. After a few minutes, she kind of looks at you interestedly and says, I've not met one of your kind since I've been like this. Usually everyone runs away when they see me.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm not surprised. I mean, if you would still be alive, wouldn't you run away for a ghost?
You're probably right.
And are you the maybe Reeker's wife?
Yes. Well, late, I suppose.
Well, he still visits your grave multiple times, and what I know, he hasn't remarried, so he's still truthful and loyal to you, even though he misses you.
Yes, I used to feel him, but then he stopped coming to where I lay.
He's not going down there. Apparently something happened down there and he doesn't want to go there anymore.
She looks around and kind of says, you've cleared some of it out. Perhaps he'll come back in now, or more likely it will just grow back.
Do you maybe want me to deliver a message to him? Something that he would understand it's coming from you.
No, it's best he not dwell on me still being here.
It might make him feel a lot better. Apparently, I don't know if he was always like that, but it seems like he's become a bit of a bitter man towards everyone in the town.
I feel it's probably the other way around. They never really understood him and his goals. But it's best you not say anything. Our people are not like yours, Master Elf. Your people understand things of the spirit more than
but
most of my kind do.
Really die that much compared to your people.
Well, it's my understanding that when you pass on into the West. We don't have such an option.
Yes, we don't. Well, it's not that we can't die. We just don't die of old age.
Well, even then, my husband has told me that those of you that are taken by battle, by misfortune, your spirits return to the West.
Yeah.
Valinor must be a lovely place. Have you been?
I'm still here, so no.
Oh, you were not born there?
No. I'm born
Well,
in In Mirkwood.
Oh, across the mountains.
Yes.
My people came from there once. Before we settled here.
But now you might understand why I don't like spiders.
Yes, I heard they're quite nasty in that great big forest of yours.
Yeah, and I had a bad encounter with them when I was younger, so it left a mark.
Well, I hope one day you'll be able to overcome it. Sadly, there's nothing I can do about what's befallen me.
I can't help you in that area either.
Perhaps your friends will.
Well, do you maybe know why you're still here?
Well, I was resting peacefully until a few months ago, I think. It's difficult to tell the time now. Something was taken from me.
Hmm.
She stands up and kind of passes through any of the brambles that remained and head back over to her cairn and kind of leans over and looks in and nods and says, "Yes, my wedding ring is gone."
Hmm. You might have any idea who might took it?
When I became aware, all I saw were spiders and webs. I thought when I came to this evening that you might have been with them, but I can tell, of course, that's silly.
Maybe Breaker might know who went into your grave and took stuff. Then maybe we can help get your...
Dear me, don't saddle him with this difficulty.
Oh,
He has enough troubles.
I'm not going to saddle him with that. I will try to find your wedding ring and bring it back here. But he might know who took it.
Suppose. He did have people that were not always happy with what he did.
Yeah.
So back down below, what are you guys doing?
Exploring
To the bottom, or what you think is the bottom, or are you heading back? Narniel is fairly certain you're close to the bottom.
Well, once we've come this far, then
we should continue.
Yeah, I would just continue suggesting, like, I think we're nearly there. We might as well see the end.
Unless it's time to stop for supper.
Before.
well,
So, continuing on, it does, at some point, you hit what you can all kind of feel, sense in whatever way, what is flat ground. And the passageway opens up into a larger, and this appears to be more natural, cavern. And though the light is fading, you can definitely see off to one side what has to be daylight filtering in through a cave entrance.
Yeah, so head
we
towards
see
the light.
daylight filtering in. Well,
Do you want me to go first?
that's
Scout out the cave.
No. No.
So, when you talk about a cave entrance, you mean an exit to the outside?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so what would be the entrance if you were outside?
Right. Okay.
And the light is kind of filtering in from that.
So while there's still light, I'm very interested in knowing if I can orient myself and know where that cave entrance is relative to where we're supposed to be around the area. So yeah, I'm gonna head out and take a look.
Okay. So yeah, heading into the cave, it is quite large, and there are some webs here and there. At this point, it doesn't take any type of skill to see that in a few places there are some cocoons. But you're not seeing any signs of actual spiders at this point, at least not large ones.
Yeah, I'm gonna go, guys. We have cocoons back here, and do they look like they're full or are already emptied long ago? Or
there's a bit of a combination of both. So there are a few that you would say, from your not expert opinion of cocoons, that maybe they once held something, but now they appear to be relatively slack. But there are some that look like, particularly one very large one, that look like they might have something within. The larger one is easily longer than any of you are tall, and quite thick. Probably thicker than the three big versions of you laying down on top of each other. So several hands, I guess we'll put it in that way, thick and very long.
None of them appear.
What was in it? What was in it? Should we look? Should we look?
Yes, I think we must.
Oh,
Is it?
I'm not allowed to go first. Gary
Is
said
it
so.
something that would be normal to find, as best as we know?
I mean, for, large spiders have to eat, right? So I think Iraniel was correct in looking for cocoons, which would indicate that they're stocking food. You're muted, Ange.
We could open this and find something decomposing. It's their last. I mean, you can try it for your exploration and adventuring and knowledge, but did you really want to open a cocoon and have the decomposing body parts falling out on you?
Not really personally, but perhaps we should lay to rest what is left of the individual in the cocoon, if there is some. But it seems a big cocoon. It does seem a big cocoon.
Yeah.
Spiders.
Yeah, it's probably twice as tall as Hanson is.
Well, that's not very big then.
Harsh.
Wow.
Wow.
Heightism. Shocking.
I tell you.
Shocking.
I'll move over to it and open it.
Yeah.
So as you open it, parts don't spill out as Ange described. It is still quite solid, but you can tell very quickly as you open it up that this is an animal carcass of some kind. And if you continue to open it up, it's a bear.
Ooh.
A great brown bear that has been exsanguinated. It is quite desiccated. All of its blood is gone. The meat is decomposing, but I mean, not to the point that it's fallen apart as of yet.
So it's quite fresh-ish.
Well, I mean, if you had to guess with your skill as a ranger, either Iraniel or Narniel would say, taking into account the exsanguination, this is probably not more than a couple of weeks old.
Oh, so
But with the previous, like with the lore and what we know, then it's more to understand that they have left, probably. This.
Well,
area.
no. So
They've got
at
the
least that they're
door,
not
don't they?
going up anymore. It doesn't
yeah.
mean that they're gone from this area completely. And you're also thinking that if they've taken down a bear of this
Yeah,
size,
I was thinking that.
there might be several.
Or big one.
Do you think they're going to
Or a really
notice
big
that
one.
we've opened this?
Quite possibly, yes.
Do they smell things? Will they pick up our friend's scent here from opening this? Are we going to be hunted by spiders till the end of our lives?
Well, I doubt that.
I've never been hunted by a spider before. Is it
Don't
fun?
want to be.
No. Oh,
So at that moment,
Uh-oh.
because it can't stand the possibility of the humor in the moment, Hamson, you actually hear from above, after you say, "I've never been hunted by a spider before," you hear, "You have now." All right, cutting back to Scoon.
Oh.
I'm not gonna say I told you so, but
So, Scoon, you're still sitting with the lady. What's going on? She's kind of fallen into a quiet. You've indicated that you'd like to help her. She's told you what she can. If she's a spirit, I mean, you feel like this is probably what she does every night, is just kind of sit around in the ruins. And she does occasionally get up and move around, but from the looks of it, you're getting the sense that she never moves very far from her body.
he'll probably offer a lamba spread next.
right. I'm just sitting
Come
there
on, that's
now,
funny.
looking at the stars, and then I'm like, so you every night you sit here just watching?
Waiting.
Waiting for what?
Hoping that whoever was foolish enough to take what didn't belong to them came back.
And
And at that moment, you can see like an eerie kind of glow in her eyes. And her hair kind of looks like it's kind of floating up and almost getting charged with some kind of energy.
Mm.
You just sense anger.
And what are you planning to do when you would see those guys?
And then she turns and looks at you directly in the eyes and she says, "I'm sure you can imagine, Master Elf, what I would do."
Yeah, I was afraid of that.
Then she squints and looks at you again. "Are you sure you're not the one who took my ring?"
I haven't taken anything from down there.
She leans back and goes back to kind of like looking at the fire. Jake, were you saying something?
No, it's just been getting quite tense up there too.
All right. So, I think at this point, I don't know. I know we just had a break, but do you guys want to get into a scuffle with some spiders today, or do you want to hold on to that until next week? What's everybody looking like time-wise?
You can do it today, I think.
Today, because I'm not here next week.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hampson's not here. All right, so
He'll be the first to go.
let's move everybody over
So little.
to our good old combat screen.
Yeah, I think this one can leave, as in me.
So yeah, I guess we'll handle the spiders, hopefully, and then we'll do a quick epilogue with what's going on with Scoon. Hopefully this won't take too long. Although in fact, Scoon, what I'm going to do since you're not down there is you're going to help me make rolls for the spiders.
Okay.
So
I'm going to say the thing that my character hates the most.
Yes.
right.
Yeah, good, yeah.
Sweet, sweet irony.
All right, so let's do this. Let me get some spiders onto the board. Unfortunately, they are going to get the drop on you since nobody decided to look up, so there's not going to be any volleys.
Mhm.
Yeah, right. Quite literally. That's good. There we go. All right. So, not spoiler, I guess trigger warning for anybody who doesn't like spiders, because there will be some spider tokens here popping up in one moment.
Looters.
You have been warned.
Oh, they're not supposed to be that big. I'm sorry. Why does this keep...
In comparison, they are that big
I
to
knew
us.
it. It's Shelob. Even though she is at the edges of Mordor, that's Shelob.
They are about your size, though. Well, Hampson's size, I guess, would be more fair.
Oh, tiny then.
That's still way too big.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
You know, in real life, there aren't that big as spiders. There are that kind of big as crabs, but not spiders.
Well, not that we know of. But yeah.
No, there's not. No. No, we can't have
All
that in
right,
real life.
so
God, no.
I think you put
the
too
good
many
news is...
on the board there. I think you took a few off.
So the good news is that although they have the drop on you, spiders don't have any ranged attacks, so they don't get any volleys necessarily.
Shoot the webbing?
Not in that way, no. But so I'm going to need everybody to decide what stance you want to start in, essentially.
Okay, I've done a fight yet. I was away when you did your
okay.
last fight.
So if you look at the bottom of the combat sheet, and there are things that these stances do. Basically, to give you a quick rundown, if you're in forward stance, you're going to get a bonus die to attack anything in hand-to-hand combat, so with a spear.
Can't move my
But
character.
they're also... You can't?
No,
What?
can't move the token.
No, we can't. Somehow, I can't even move my token as well.
Can move.
Well, it seems
mine
like
and
Tony can move
perennials.
hers.
Yeah, I cannot.
Yeah.
Mine.
Yeah, that was also the problem last time. You moved all the tokens. We just
Oh,
said,
did I never fix that? I forgot to look into that. All right, so that's fine. I'll move it. Hampson, where do you want to go?
Rearward. Run away, little boy, run away!
Where do you want Shadon, Jake?
I think based on being surprised, I'd just be open.
Open. Okay, that's fair. So, forward stance, you get a bonus die to attack. They get a bonus die to attack you. Open stance is no modifiers. Defensive, they get -1 die to attack you. You also have -1 die to attack, and that's the D6. Don't worry, depending upon the stance, it'll figure most of the stuff out for you. And then rearward is where you can make ranged attacks from. However, you can only make ranged attacks from rearward stance if if you're not outnumbered, right? Unfortunately, you are. So at this point, I should have said Hampson's probably going to be in hand-to-hand combat. So
Yeah,
open,
stick
defensive.
me in open. Yeah, that's fine.
Now, another thing that you can see on there, it's kind of small, but if you zoom in, there are other things you can do in each of the stances. They're called combat tasks. So protect companion and defensive allows you to try to protect companions. Combat task for open is rally comrades. That gives you some bonuses, and then in forward you can intimidate foes, which can do some interesting things as well. So however,
so
though,
I'm
we're
going
gonna
to be using my spear, which I've already got out, but I'm going to make sure I position myself in front of Handsome. So which one do I press? Forward, open?
So this isn't like a battle map in D&D. I understand what you're saying. You want to protect Hanson, and that's all I need to know. But you probably want to be in defensive then, because that would enable you to protect comrade instead of attacking.
Okay.
Go to my GM screen. Go. Excellent.
Combat is very different in this game, but still interesting.
It is different, that is for sure. So, if you use your action to defend someone, for your sake, Ange,
yeah.
Basically what's going to happen... I have all this written down. Where's my combat stuff? Sorry, everybody. I swear I had this written down.
Hanson, you stay close to me.
Special successes.
You don't have to roll to be convincing for that one.
Right, well. Right. So let's just go to the book. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have Scoon pick where the spiders are going. As far as the spiders go, you probably can't move them either, can you?
Nope.
All right. So there are 6 spiders. One spider has to engage everyone. So everybody's going to get at least one spider on them.
Okay.
And then Scoon, where do the other 2 spiders go?
Why is there annual again there? Let's see, how are we going?
Oh. Someone's done that one.
I can't roll blind, can I?
Yeah.
Otherwise,
And can't you?
I don't believe I can roll a die blind, or as in that it's not visible. One is Narniel, 2 is Araniel, 3 is Hamson, 4 is Shaden. Is it? No, then it's the other one. That's it. That's a 4, so that one is going to Shaden.
Okay. Got it. 2 on Shaden.
And 1 is going to Araniel.
All right.
And this is the most fair way I could do it.
Yeah.
Now I don't have
that makes sense.
all over it as well. In that way.
Okay. So, in the first round of combat, the spiders are going to close with all of you, and they will make their attacks. The way that attacks are going to work is we are going to have Scoon roll for 3 of them, and I will roll for the other 3. Let's see. Scoon, their dice, they have 3 for fangs, or you can use their webs if you choose to. In their webs, if you get a special success, they can seize their foe, which basically means they're hanging on to them, but there's no damage.
D6?
What's that?
D6s?
Plus the fate die, yes. So roll a d12, and 3d6s for fangs, or 4d6s for webs.
Of 3. 3d6 is for fangs.
Yep.
Then I will do this one. Does it work? No, that's just a d12. So I have to do the.
Can't see that D12. What'd you get on the 12?
A 1.
Okay.
3d6. That is 9 in total.
Okay. So, which one were you attacking with? I guess we should have said that. Because it's going to depend on their parry. But I know a 9 misses. To roll for the rest, though, let's see. There's got to be a way to do this, right? Advanced roll. We're going to do 3d6. Oh, it doesn't let you add a d12, huh? Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I'm just going to roll without.
1d12 plus a 3d6, but it doesn't do that.
So it's probably just easier if I roll for mine with my dice. That's a miss. All right, and so that was, we'll say those were both Iraniel. Narniel, one's attacking you. That's also a miss. Gosh, these dice are horrible. At this point, they're just trying to bite you. Hamson, that's a no. Shadon, also a no. And second one on Shadon is also a no. Okay, well, that is fantastic for everybody. All right, so that was the surprise round, which did not do anything for the spiders whatsoever, largely because you guys have just massive defenses. So let's go into the standard round. So you all have your stances. I know, Iraniel, you wanted to be in defensive to protect Hamson.
Yes.
But I know that you moved yourself to kind of move in front of him, and that's fine. Narniel's forward, and Hamson and Shadon are open. So we're going to go with Narniel first with open. You have one spider facing you, and you kind of have to focus on that one before you're able to do anything else.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go for that one with my sword, 2 hands.
Two-handed, okay.
Yeah.
So their parry is nothing. So you're basically just trying to beat your TN for your strength. And when you go to roll, it should give you an option to set their parry.
Wow.
Great success. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so
wow.
with a great success, you're doing a base damage of 5. And you're doing an injury with a rating of 18. They defend 2 dice. And he actually got a great success on the defense, so he automatically defends against the injury. However, with the great success, you are able to make that one of several things. You can do a heavy blow, which does additional damage based on your strength rating. You can break shield wouldn't mean anything. Heavy blow, you could pierce. That we already did that, didn't work. So yeah, really, unless you have anything special on your weapon, like if it's keen or anything. With the longsword, did you take that for your rewards at character creation? I don't think you did.
No, I didn't take that. So it's just a normal sword.
So yeah, a heavy blow is going to do additional damage equal to your strength rating. What's your strength rating?
Strength rating 6.
Okay, so that's a total of 11 damage. So regardless of not actually injuring that particular spider, you have dealt a heavy blow to it. And it squeals as you chop off a couple of its legs. It's still kind of moving around, though. So then we go to the people in open stance, and that would be Hamson and Shadon. Shadon, you have 2 on you. Hamson, you have 1.
I'm going to strike with my sword the one that is attacking me.
Parry is 0.
And also a reason you know I did it fairly, otherwise all those spiders were on Hanson.
Ridiculous. Okay. So that spider manages to definitely dodge out of the way of Spider Slayer as you swing it towards it. Shadon.
And I'm not sure that's kind of a strange roll, but
You have a
Okay, so it's an automatic success because you rolled a Gandalf rune.
right.
Gandalf runes automatically hit, and then on top of that, you do a piercing blow, which means the spider has to resist against an injury of 16.
Yeah, no, I'm just wondering because I should have
It does not.
2d6 in that roll too, so it's kind of weird.
Oh, well, I mean, you got lucky and just automatically got that. I can take a look at your character sheet and what's going on later, but yeah, that's...
It says that you haven't rolled any d6s.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah, that's anyways.
It doesn't matter. You rolled the feat die, so you did the maximum you could do, even if you had rolled the d6s.
Yay.
The good news is the spider does not resist the injury, and since it is a relatively weak creature, that's an automatic wound, which automatically kills the spider. So describe for me how you instantly put down a spider.
I think just I'm a little bit surprised by them. As I'm grabbing out my sword, and there are two of them rushing me. One of them actually just gets impaled by it as they're trying to both crowd the space to get towards me. So it was, kind of during my turn, I'm just kind of going and thrusting it. I couldn't miss. There were just too many spiders on me for me to fail.
I love it. Okay.
Almost like...
So, yeah, he is gone. All right. That brings us to Araniel. So, Araniel, you are in defensive stance.
Mm-hmm.
You can either attack one of the spiders at -1 die. And the way that you can do that is on your character sheet. And everybody should probably check their character sheet to be sure of this. On the left-hand side, just to the left of strength, there's a place for you to set like conditions and modifiers.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. This is beneath combat, right? So at the very bottom left, you can actually pick the stance that you're in, and that will automatically modify your rolls, right?
Yeah.
So I can see that you have defensive selected, which is awesome. So now all you got to do is, if you want to attack, click on the button next to the spear if you're using it one-handed or two-handed. Or if you want to do the protect comrade task, then you're going to need to roll something different. So it's up to you. Do you want to attack or protect?
Well, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put my arm protectively around him, but I'm going to move backwards while spearing the nearest, sort of like jabbing the nearest. So Handsome, stay behind me, and I want to push towards a wall so we can't get approached from the back.
Oh, I love that. Okay. So that is going to give... Go ahead. I'm sorry. Continue. No, you continue.
I'm kind of like pushing him behind me, moving backwards and stabbing anything that's in front of me to get us out of anything attacked from behind. So
sure. Okay, so that's a perfect description too. And so that is going to showcase something that you can do, which is to use terrain to assist you. You can use the environment. So yes, you technically have a stance that you're in, but the stance is not a space on a board, right? I know we're using a board to kind of delineate that out.
Yeah.
But it's not like the board isn't there, right? So the stance is just something that you adopt. What you have just described is good enough to give you and Hampson, because you're taking him with you, an additional bonus on defense the next time you get attacked, right? So that's great. That's fantastic. You do, however, still get to attack. So go ahead and since you're using one hand to pull Hampson, I'm going to say you have to do the one-handed.
Yeah. I was going to do that because I've got one hand around. No bonus. Do I have a bonus die?
It'll figure that out for you. You just go ahead and click that button,
And target's parry, just 0.
0. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'm doing very well because I think I'm just trying to like push back and jab
Sure.
frantically.
But, you did manage to do something that is going to help both of you, right? So that's great. All right,
Okay.
Now we move to the spiders. So there are still 2 on Araniel, 1 on Hamson, 1 on Shadon, and 1 on Narniel. Although there is one kind of floating. Scoon, do you want to roll a d4 to see where the other one... Because the other one is free to move. Or do you want to keep him on Araniel?
It stays on Araniel.
Oh, he's still on Araniel. Okay. Good deal.
Wow.
June, do you have dice with you? If we can't figure out how to do it on the screen, you could help me with dice rolls. So I'll do a couple to start off. We'll do the 2 on Araniel, and you're in defensive, so they get -1 die.
That's enough.
Yeah. So when you roll your d12, Scoon, if you're just using basic d12s, an 11 counts as an eye, and a 12 counts as a Gandalf rune. Okay?
Okay.
So keep that in mind. See Jake trying to figure it out. Did you figure it out?
I did, yeah.
With both?
I didn't do the other part. I just keep playing, but no.
Yeah, keep playing with it.
The other, sorry.
All right. So the first attempt at Araniel is a miss. Araniel's parry is like 19, isn't it? Or is it 18?
Sorry, I was talking jam tarts with Mark.
Yeah, parry is next to your wits.
17.
17, okay.
Yeah.
That's also a fail. So Scoon, do you want to roll for whoever's on Hamson? It's going to get -1 die.
So 2d6s.
2d6s, 1d12. And just add them up.
Me and math is very bad. 15.
And that, I don't think that beats Hamson's parry, does it?
No, parry 16.
Okay, so that's a miss. Scoon, why don't you go ahead and roll for the one that is attacking Narniel, and I will roll for the one attacking Shadon.
That one does have 3.
No, that one actually has 4 because she's in forward stance.
Okay, then I'll take another d6, one that has normal numbers and not just dots. That is a 19.
Ooh, I think that hits Narniel, doesn't it? Or is Narniel at parry 20?
My parry's 17.
Narniel, sorry, not Araniel.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Total parry 18.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So the spider's damage, and this is just for your endurance, there's no special effects, is 4.
So just minus off the current endurance, don't I?
Minus off current endurance, correct.
Okay.
All right. So back to our heroes. This is a moment for you to change stances if you please. With your backs to the wall, you can still maintain that bonus die for Araniel and Hamson. This would also be a good moment for Shadon and Narniel to kind of describe things to see if you can get a bonus die that makes sense to me. So yeah, if you want to shift, if you want to do anything as you're attacking, just give me that description. So we'll start with Narniel again in forward stance.
I think for Narniel, seeing Ireniel obviously try and protect Hamson, but moving away to a wall, she's blocked in and being surrounded. It's basically just trying to get this spider out of the way to go and help.
Okay.
So it's literally just trying to smite this one.
Sure. All right, so make that roll. And make sure you have forward checked on your sheet so you get that bonus die.
See if I do it again. Ooh.
Extraordinary.
Oh gosh. Okay. So, for those who are not aware, a great success means that someone has rolled 1 6. An extraordinary success means they've rolled 2 6s. In the One Ring, a 6 on a skill die has a little Tengwar rune on it, which indicates that it's a bonus of some kind. In combat, you can do several things with that. The most common thing to do is a heavy blow, which deals additional damage. But there are other opportunities as well. You can do a pierce, which would adjust the injury rating. You can do 2 heavy blows. You can do a heavy blow and a pierce. What do you think is necessary here?
It'll be extra damage. Naniel's main goal right now.
Put it down.
Put it down and get to a Renial.
Sure. So yeah, with that much extra damage, you are easily going to put this thing down. So why don't you describe its ruin for me?
Yeah, so it's like a two-handed sword. It's turning to face a Renial, just literally bringing this down, just slicing, like, I would say slicing, like, it's trying to bite, so it's facing directly, just slicing straight through the middle, making that, so, like, the easiest way to make sure it is dead with one swoop, but as soon as it's all the way through, moving forward to Renial, to the next, to the one that's now in between, that will now be in between her and a Renial.
Okay. So yeah, you easily cleft it in twain. And at this point, there is no doubt that this spider is well and dead. So you are free to move about the battlefield. That brings us to Shadon in open.
Yeah. So as the spider in front of me dies at my sword, I'm going to try to position myself so that the other spider attacking me has that dead spider in between me and it. I want it to be forced to go through its dead comrade. Not that that probably is going to be a big deal for it, but it might give it, time to pause. I'm going to use that kind of as a not a barrier, but an obstacle to have between me and the current spider attacking me. And I may have even figured out how to get this to work properly, so we'll see if this actually works this time.
Sure. Yeah, there's some success dice. Wow, and with 4 success dice.
No.
Oh, no.
I don't think so, no.
You only have 2, so yeah, you rolled a 2 and a 2. Would you like to spend some hope?
I think this is the time to spend it, which makes this, well...
No, it doesn't work that way for combat. For combat, you just do a reroll.
Okay, all right. So I'll reduce my hope by 1.
Would be a little OP if you could use it like that.
Right. Magical successes in combat would be crazy. Wow.
Right, well, that was a good use of hope.
Wow.
Better. Okay, so I will. Your injury rating is 16. Ooh. Tell me how you put that spider down, Jake.
Oh, this is going to be piercing. So I think, the same thing that happened with the other one. It was kind of, I'm just going to ram it straight through, like reaching over the carcass of the dead spider into the other one that was, approaching and attacking me through his friend.
Right. And yeah, as you skewer this spider, your fine elven blade meets almost no resistance, piercing what would otherwise be relatively resilient carapace of this horrendous Hamson-sized spider.
And the revulsion of what I do, I'll say kind of quietly to myself, I understand why Transton doesn't like these things at all.
Nice. Okay.
Finally.
So that brings us to Hamson, who is still in open, unless you change that string.
I'm going to be moving into forward by ducking through Araniel's legs and attempting to bring my sword up into the under head of the spider that I'm attacking. So I'm ducking through her head, ducking through her legs, and going up.
That he was going to listen to you. He listened to no one. He's talking too much to hear what you say.
I'm going to go to forward.
So you gain a bonus die.
Can I? Hope is used to re-roll, isn't it? You said not to add.
You can either use hope to add, or after a roll you can use it to re-roll.
Okay, I'm gonna use it to add because that adds a bonus dice, doesn't it?
Yep.
So that gives me 2 bonus dice then, doesn't it? Because I've moved into the new stance. Oh, sorry, 1 bonus dice.
Correct.
Does the stance bonus already go onto the attack? Yes.
If you've got the stance selected on your character sheet, that's already
I have
sorted.
Ah, yes,
so
it shows
you
bonus
just
die
add a
once.
bonus die. Yeah.
I change it to 2 bonus dice.
Yep.
Target's power rating is 0.
Oh my gosh.
Dang.
You guys, great successes.
Holy.
Okay. So yeah, you got a great success with a pierce. We'll go ahead and make the injury roll first. Tell me how you put it down.
Like I said, I kind of rolled through Araniel's legs, and the sword kind of goes straight up into the under chin of the spider and pierces straight through its head.
And you perfectly cleave the mandible in two as your blade just kind of like goes up through its chin.
Spider Slayer!
Pull Spider Slayer back, you bifurcate the head of the spider as it drops to the ground in front of you. All right.
I wonder if that was the one talking, saying, "You are now."
It was actually, because that was the one that dropped right on top of Hanson, essentially.
Look who's talking now, Spider!
All right, so that brings us to Araniel in defensive. Are you remaining in defensive, or would you like to move to open or forward?
I will be like, God's sake, handsome, and then I will drop the defensive and then dash forward to attack the one that is nearest to us. So would that change that to what then? 4?
So you could. So if you move to forward, you're going to lose your defensive bonus. So it will get a bonus die to attack you when its turn is up here in a second. Okay. So it's kind of up to you. If you go to open, you're not going to be at a penalty, and I'll let you maintain the bonus for your movement.
But can I split
back against the wall
then?
Yes. Yeah. So if you move to the open stance, basically what's going to happen is, because of your earlier description, I'm basically going to take away a die from the spiders when they attack you.
Okay.
But if you move into open stance, you won't have any dice taken away. You'll just be at your flat dice roll.
Then, and I'm just going to go for whichever one's attacking me, I will attack him. Wow, trying to grab Hanson back, but then sort of like rolling my eyes in despair because he's a...
Okay.
A spider killer.
Yeah.
Little self.
Now, you could, like I was telling you earlier, though, so that's a failure. Or, since I was about to give you an option, we can hold off on that. No, it's fine. So you could actually do a protective action.
Okay, yeah.
Instead.
I would do that,
So,
I think.
Okay, so the way the protective action works is you're going to make a battle roll, right? So I'll let you roll it differently. Battle is not going to be affected by your stance or anything. You just roll battle like a skill check. Again, you can spend hope to get a bonus die if you want, or you can spend hope afterwards to re-roll it if you choose. But the battle roll is going to determine what happens.
Okay, I'll spend hope. I don't know where that is, but I will spend it anyway. However I spend it.
Well, I'll keep in mind that you spent a point of hope, so you're going to make a battle roll with a bonus of +1.
So how do I do a battle roll then?
So you click on the little die button next to battle, and it should ask you if you have any bonus dice, and you're just going to put 1 in there.
Bear with. I'm trying to find battle.
Battle should be under... That's a good question. What is battle under? Is it strength? Or is it wits?
Battle is under the middle skills.
So I was wrong on both counts. It's under heart.
Yeah.
At the bottom, yeah.
Okay, so I just roll that with 1 bonus die, you say, yeah?
Correct, yes.
Submit. Ooh. Success.
Success. Okay, so on a successful roll, the next attack aimed at the protected player hero, which I assume is Hamson,
It is.
loses 1 die, plus another 1 die for each success icon rolled. Unfortunately, you didn't roll any success icons, but you still did a great job on protecting Hamson. So that is your action, though. That's the cost of those combat tasks, is you don't get to attack, you're actually doing something else, right? Which makes sense.
I think that's what
But
I would do majority of the time, to be fair.
Sure. Yeah, and there's other things you can do too. Like if you're in open stance, you can rally your comrades, which is kind of like, to put it in D&D terms, kind of like a bard. You're giving people bonus dice to attack. In the forward stance, you can intimidate foes, which is actually really strong because intimidating a foe can reduce their hate, which is a resource that they have that is similar to your hope. Thankfully, these spiders don't have a lot of hate because they're really low. At any rate, you have protected Hamson, so I will keep that in mind. So now the spiders are up. You're still in defensive stance, so they are losing a die from that, and they're also losing a die from your back being up against the wall. So, yeah, unsurprisingly, with only a D12 and a D6, both spiders try to strike at you, but you're keeping them at a distance with that spear. They're just not able to get close. So, now we move into the next round. At this point, well, I'll do it when the spiders are up. You've got 2 spiders on the board. You guys now have the initiative. You can engage the spiders how you choose.
What do you mean?
We're doing people in forward stance first.
Yes. So whoever wants to be in forward stance, I think as of last round, it was Narniel and Hamson.
Yeah.
I'll move into forward as well.
I'm still defensive.
I'm going to yay! Charge the spider near me that's been fighting around. I'll protect you, Raniel! I'll protect you!
Okay.
And I'm going to strike that spider.
Don't forget, you have to roll separately for each leg. And I
am going to spend a point of hope to do it as well.
Okay. All right.
I'm still in forward stance.
So you should have a total of 2 bonus dice.
Hopefully.
Oh, hang on 1 moment. This is something that could be important. Is Iraniel your fellowship focus at this point?
She is, yes.
That actually means you get 2 bonus dice for that point of hope.
Oh, excellent.
So when you spend hope to protect or work with or support your fellowship focus, you get a bonus die.
That's cool.
Okay.
It's my fellowship focus as well.
Yep. Oh, and I had totally forgotten about that. That would have counted for your battle roll to protect him.
Ordinary.
Wow.
Oh my god.
He's a feisty little devil, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Oh no, he's gonna not shut up about this, and I'm not gonna believe him.
No.
So this roll is interesting because if you'll notice on the feat die, you actually rolled the Eye of Sauron.
Right.
Oh.
Yes.
The good news is you're not weary. If you were weary, that would turn your whole roll into a failure.
Oh.
Or no, I'm sorry, if you were miserable. which is a different thing. That's when your shadow is above your current hope.
No, it's only Tristan that's miserable
I
at the
was about
moment.
to say that.
Ouch.
No, it's not. The hope is pretty high.
Yeah, right? So, still, amazing roll. You have 2 extra successes. Would you like me to apply either of those to a piercing hit? Or do you want to just stack on the damage?
What's a piercing hit do?
So a piercing hit is going to increase your injury rating by 2. So they'll need to roll an 18 or better to avoid taking a wound. As it stands, with your short sword, they need to roll a 16 or better.
Right, yeah, okay. And if they fail, they die.
Instantly kill them. Yes.
Oh, yes. We'll do that then.
Okay. So piercing hit, and then the other one, heavy blow, just in case they somehow make it.
Yeah.
Okay. And they did not make it. Yeah, they rolled a 5. So yeah. You take down another spider. Describe it to me.
Basically, as he charged forward to protect Araniel, he slides and pierces the sword through the belly of the spider, lifting it off its 8 legs, and they wiggle just as they die, and it falls off the sword, and he comes up onto one knee. Yeah! Hurrah!
Nice.
Something like that.
All right. And that brings us to Narniel.
Yep. He's still the same. I'm just chasing him down.
Okay.
I think at this point he would be kind of on the same wavelength as Hampson, just chasing them down and just as they're going.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wouldn't be screaming, but yeah.
Inspiring leadership from the chef.
Oh no, that doesn't. Yeah, no. Let's give it a go. Hey, success.
Holy
Success. Okay.
nice.
So yeah, that is going to deal 5 points of damage to that spider. Got it. And that brings us to Shaidan.
All right.
And you can attack the same spider now at this point. Since you all outnumber the spider, you get to choose who you engage.
Right. Okay, let's.
And you said you were moving forward, correct?
Yes. Now, your parry, it allows me to put it in here automatically. So do you want to let me know what it is, and we'll see if it resolves for itself? What is the target?
Wait, what's that now?
What is the target's parry value?
Oh, 0.
Oh, it is 0? Okay. So I was going to say I could try to... Oh, but that's not good. All right.
Oh, dear.
Okay.
Turn.
So you step forward and try to slash at the spider, but it slinks back just out of reach. And it is going to attempt to run. So, Araniel, you are getting the sense that this spider is going to flee. You have an action. This game is not as strict as D&D. Like, you don't have to use an action to change weapons. You guys now outnumber it, so you can move into rearward stance and take a shot with your bow. Right?
That's
you have
what
a bow.
I was going to do. Yeah.
If you want to, or you can let it flee. It's your choice.
Strike it down.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my bow. So what do I need to change these little buttons to? Forward, open,
Okay,
defense?
so first you want to click on rearward, because otherwise it's going to get confused when you attack.
Okay, yeah, we've done that. And then just press
And
bow, yeah?
then click on the die next to bow, correct. Do you want to spend any hope?
Yes, I'll do one.
Okay, then you're going to get a bonus die on the bow roll. So when it asks for bonus die, put a 1 in there.
Yep.
And then that should be it. Make your roll.
Dang.
Wow.
That's a hit.
Injury 14? Wow.
Yeah, that only comes into play if you actually... What's the word I'm looking for? Oh, no, that does come into play because you rolled high enough. Injury 14. So, yeah, here we go. Let's see if it takes him down. man, they just can't make their injury rolls. All right, tell me how you put the spider down, Ange, with your bow.
I draw, and as it's running away, obviously I pierce its bum sack.
You pierce its bum sack, okay?
It's running away, so...
Yeah, no, you're right.
Nobody wants to start that injury.
I love it.
Bum sack.
I'm like, bum sack is perfect. The bum sack, I love it. So you angled your shot just right that not only do you pierce the bum sack, but it's got a little bit of a downward angle on it as it comes in from the distance. So your arrow bites into the dirt and rock and pins that spider to the ground by its bum sack. I'm going to say that as many times as I can until we're done today.
I already see that Tony is going to turn it into a sound for the soundboard.
And as you sense no more enemies around you, you do hear a squeal from that spider saying, "I'm a bum sack!" because it's still alive. Barely. But it is fading fast. So, what do you do? Let's wrap this scene up and then wrap up with Scoon. Right.
Oh gosh.
I think we have to tell Transon that there were no spiders here whatsoever, that they left long ago.
Oh no, I've got to tell I killed 2. Did you see me? That was far better than corn. I was there, it was left and right and swish and shove. Up in the head, up in the belly.
Handsome, I have to admit, you were like a little hero there. You showed.
I could only do it with you.
Much
you
courage. Much courage.
We shall drink our health with a bottle of a glass of wine later.
We shall.
So, are you all going to?
Otherwise, you didn't kill any spiders.
Are you going to engage with the spider before it expires, or are you just going to enjoy your victory?
I'm going to go to it. I'm going to go up to it.
Okay.
Apologize for the bum sack.
Sorry about your bum sack.
Sorry, I was going for your head and I got your bum sack. Sorry!
Do we have that chilling sense around these spiders that we received when we first came into the area?
Well, not specifically, but Ange, as you approach the spider, it is kind of like, all joking about the bum sack aside, it is like whispering. I don't know if spiders would whisper. I mean, they can't talk anyway, but it is kind of chittering softly as it's fading, right? You can tell that it's losing strength. And it's saying over and over again, "She is coming. She is coming."
Who's coming?
And then it dies.
Oh.
Oh.
All right. Switch back to Scoon to wrap us up for today. Scoon, you have another minute or two with the spirit. Is there anything that you want to wrap up? Any questions you want to ask? Or are you just enjoying an early evening with a ghostly companion around a fire?
Yeah, I think so, because I think I've already got all the information that I can get from her.
Okay, so
I don't know who took the ring, so I'm gonna try to get that information from Rieker.
Right. So as you are just kind of sitting with her, occasionally she seems to forget that you're there. You get the sense, but occasionally she notices you again, and it's strange. It's almost like a repetitious, like, lose focus, notice you again, get angry, notice you're an elf. And several times she even asks again, "Who are you?" Right? So you get the sense that the initial interaction you had with her is probably the most lucid she's been in a long time. And as the night wears on, the darker it gets, the more her form, strangely, almost counterintuitively, the more her form starts to fade until she's little more than a few wisps in the air sitting before the fire. And then eventually, probably just moments before your friends arrive, assuming they come back to this location, she disappears and you're left alone by the fire in the darkening night.
Okay.
And that is where we will end it for today.